choice and freedom to know what we're buying, what's in our food, what we're putting in our bodies, and what we're feeding to our children.
Hey, FDA, let the people have their say. Hey, hey, FDA, let the people have their say.
The FDA is currently drafting voluntary guidelines for the labeling of genetically modified foods, but the voluntary guidelines have not been published.
I think one of the first steps is demanding a right to know what you're eating.
In Europe, there was a 5-year movement led primarily by Greenpeace that brought this issue to the public, and the public demanded that their stores, and not just kind of specialty stores like Trader Joe's, but all grocery stores in Europe are GE free. And that's because the public demanded it.
McDonald's doesn't serve genetically engineered food in Europe. So there's this huge double standard that's been created where it's fine for Kellogg's and McDonald's and all these other ADM to feed American consumers GMOs, but in Europe it's not okay.
The biggest GMO crop in the U.S. is Roundup Ready soybean, which means that you can plant this soybean seed that is resistant, 100% resistant to Roundup, which is the largest selling herbicide in the United States, and it's made by Monsanto, as is the Roundup Ready seed. It's costing those farmers more. They buy a more expensive seed, and they have to use 3 times as much herbicide. The yields are not higher. So as near as I can tell, the main beneficiary is Monsanto.
The real evil behind it all are these chemical companies led by Dow, DuPont, and Monsanto. Dow, who brought us Agent Orange or dioxin, DuPont, who brought us chlorofluorocarbons messing up the ozone layer, and Monsanto, the main one, genetically modifying food so they could sell more Roundup herbicide.
We don't need genetic engineering, so why risk it? Why try this new thing that generates these new toxins? I mean, people genetically modified nutritional supplements of L-tryptophan. 40 people died because of some novel new poison that was in there that nobody thought might have been there. So why risk it? How do we know what its effects might be on developing children, might be on pregnant women? Who knows? It's not tested. We don't need it, so let's not have it.
As soon as the customers demand GE-free products, the stores will deliver them and the farmers will grow them.
We are demanding that our genetically engineered foods be labeled at the very least, because these things are toxic, allergenic, and will upset the ecological system of the entire planet, if not the future of humanity itself.
I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. Fluoridation is going to join thalidomide, DDT, and tobacco as being a fully self-evident poison.
The DWP will tell you that the addition of fluoride is beneficial to tooth decay, which is ridiculous.
A cover story in the Journal of the American Dental Association, July 2000, is conceding that there is no mechanism for ingested fluoride to prevent dental cavities.
The bottom line is the use of fluoride to the drinking water has nothing to do with the prevention of tooth decay. What it is, it's a dumping ground for hydrofluoric acid, which is a contaminant listed by the EPA as a hazardous waste, and that's what's being added to our drinking water.
The one they're adding in LA and 90% of the country is fluosilicic acid. It's a byproduct of phosphate fertilizer industry. And even to use the term fluoride or fluoridation is deceptive, because this chemical is only 25% fluoride. The rest of it is a sulfuric acid base. It contains mercury, lead, arsenic, uranium, cadmium, chlorides, sulfides, kerosene, diesel fuel, to name a few of the contaminants that are in this chemical. In a nutshell, the phosphate fertilizer industry mines phosphate ore for its phosphate content. In a process using sulfuric acid called acidulation, they pour it over the ore and they separate the phosphate from all the other garbage. and all that other garbage in the early part of the last century used to be blown out of the smokestacks into the environment, kill cattle 5 miles downwind, things like that. And later environmental laws made them install scrubbing systems to collect the waste. Hence, now what were they going to do with it? This is what has driven fluoridation all along. You're accumulating a toxic, poison for 10 or 20 or 30 years, it's going to affect your body and your brain. It's in your coffee, it's in your tea, it's in your soup, it's in your rice, it's in your pasta, it's in your shower. It's in everything you buy that is canned or bottled that came from a fluoridated water. You drink Milwaukee beer, it's fluoridated. You drink Snapple, it's fluoridated. Progresso soup, it's fluoridated. This was voted on in 1975, and it was rejected in 1975.
We didn't have the opportunity to vote on it this time. It was passed by the city council because they thought it was in our best interest.
Then we didn't want it, now we don't want it, and yet they're forcing it on us anyway. Here's the poll. Last year, here's the vote, 1975. Even if every single thing they ever said about fluoridation was true, it'd still be a gross violation of our civil liberties because we don't want it. We don't care if it's vitamin C. Nobody has the right to say you're going to have it every single day, whether you like it or not.
But it's all big business. I mean, we are allowing our water supply to be the toxic dumping grounds for big business.
And it comes down to wealthy industrial industries looking at it this way. We can either spend billions of dollars annually to dispose of this appropriately at industrial waste treatment facilities, or we can sell it for a few $1 million, which is pocket change. That's the bottom line. All comes down to corporate cash, just like everything else.